to excite me when I don't have a clue what I'm going to say.
1 minute to live.
Let's put some vodka in there.
Me too, I thought.
Oh, nice, isn't it? Say for me, but you handsome man. Great. I'm wonderful. Amazing. Good afternoon, South Africa. Lovely to have you. Welcome to Afternoon Express live on SABC3. I'm Bonang Matiba.
And I'm Bodine Booley. It is indeed an inspirational Tuesday in the loft. Today we'll be talking all about skills management and education for young children. First up, we chat to winemaker Carmen Stevens, who's raised over R1 million to help feed hungry school children.
That's incredible. Also in the loft, we're going to be chatting to a young man by the name of Bernard Viljoen, who started a program called I Got Shot in Joburg. And no, it's not a support group. So what he does, right, he takes street kids from all across the country, teaches them photographic skills so they can generate some income for themselves. They take those prints and sell them at galleries and markets all across the country. He's expanded into Cape Town, is also co-partnered with a mentorship program called Say Yes, co-founded by Michelle Potter. She's here as well. We're going to be chatting to her, so make sure you stick around.
Yeah, sounds amazing. We also chat to financial planner Jean Archery, who's created a book that helps young children with management, money management at a really young age and in a simple way.
I love this.
Yeah, and in the loft today, it's an all-girls cast and we're all in blue.
All in blue, of course. Jenny, how you doing?
Lovely to see you, ladies. I wish somebody had taught me financial management when I was a child. I definitely would have needed it. Now, of course, it is an inspirational Tuesday on Afternoon Express today, and something that is definitely going to inspire your taste buds is this fabulous concoction over here, done by the fantastic Lexi. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, what are these? They look a bit like Swiss rolls.
These are called arlettes, and it's basically just puff pastry with sugar and cinnamon. Super simple, but just super delicious.
Yeah, great. I'm looking forward to it. Earlier I was saying it's just you and me, baby, in the kitchen, but it's actually you and me and baby
in the
kitchen. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Okay, so today, if you want to bake with us, all you need to do is visit our website, afternoonexpress.co.za, and all of the details as to how you can make this tasty wonder will be there. Also, communicate with us on social media. All you need to do is visit our Facebook page, Afternoon Express, and of course we are live and tweeting all the time on Twitter at Afternoon Chat using the official hashtag Afternoon Express. But for now, let's head to the couch to meet our very first guest.
Thank you so much, Jeannie. Now, winemaking is an industry traditionally dominated by males, but that never hindered Carmen Stevens from pursuing her passion. She was the first person of color to study winemaking in South Africa in the 90s, and after winning numerous awards over the years, her own wine brand, Carmen Stevens Wines, which was launched in 2014, won her the Winemaker of the Year in 2015 from the UK online wine retailer Naked Wines. Imagine that. Recently, she made an online appeal via the website for donations towards feeding hungry children in the Western Cape. The response to her online appeal has been so overwhelming that she has managed to raise more than R1 million. Joining us in the loft is our first guest, Carmen Stevens. Welcome to Afternoon Express.
Thank you for having me.
Wow, just reading that, how does that make you feel?
That sounds more impressive on the ear, I must say.
I'm very impressed. I mean, you were the first person of color to study winemaking after the 1994 democratic elections. What are some of the challenges that you faced during that era?
The challenge for me was actually studying winemaking at the college where I was. I think for both me and my fellow students, I was the odd one out, and they weren't sure where to place me. And I always thought that will be the obstacle, that and going into the industry. And when I finished my studies and actually got a job in the industry, I realized the doors has opened. The stigma that I would not be accepted, the stigma that I cannot make wine as I was told before, all disappeared, and everybody was very welcoming, very supportive. I think my biggest challenge was more to step out of that comfort zone of having a job and moving on to the next position as a winemaker at another facility to get recognised for doing that.
And of all the things in the world, Carmen, that you could have studied, why winemaking? What inspired you?
What inspired me was reading Mills and Boons. As a youngster, I had a big problem reading English and writing English. And my mom, at that point, I think, didn't know what to do anymore. And she said to me one day, "Yeah, try this." I read it. It was most interesting. And most of those settings was with wine in a vineyard or in a cellar. And I always thought, you know, this is completely different from what I'm used to. And I thought, I think I want to become a winemaker one day.
That's incredible. And it's an industry that's male-dominated. You know, as a woman, not only being the first woman of colour, but also getting into that industry. What are some of the challenges that, you know, female winemakers face every single day?
I think the challenges is the same as in any other industry. I think it's a question of you need to prove that you are there for a reason and that you have the passion and that you want to make wine like in any other job. And as soon as what I experienced for myself was the very first award I got, I worked hard, and everybody works hard, whether you're male or female. But as soon as you get that first recognition for a fantastic wine, people respect you for that. And that is what I found with the South African wine industry. You know, they just, suddenly you're just part of just a normal winemaker to everybody else, and you've proven yourself, and now you can go on.
And, you know, I've interviewed so many wonderful, successful people here at Afternoon Express, and usually when somebody reaches a certain level of success, they feel a need to pay it forward, which you did, and you raised 1.2 million rands via your online appeal, and you decided to donate that money to, you know, feeding schemes across the country. Tell me, you know, the process before you got to actually making sure that that appeal worked.
What happened was in 2012, I have two little girls, Caitlin and Victoria, and I always thought they were very privileged. Looking back to how I grew up, I come from a very poor community. My mother was a factory worker. So I knew what the dynamics was in that communities, and I thought, you know, I would like my kids to understand where I'm coming from and to understand that what they have today, not everybody has that. So I decided first with the pocket money, they had to put away some of the pocket money, and we would buy little gifts for people in old age homes. And then I thought, wait, let's do the soup kitchen, because I knew there was a need, especially in Belhar, where I did spend some of my teenage years. And I did it for probably 22 months, and then I decided it's getting, financially, it was becoming too much for me. And then last year, I went on my UK tour with Naked Wines in the UK, and sitting next to the CEO, I told him, no, he actually said to me, listen, we have this thing where we give money to a good cause. Do you know of any cause in South Africa? And I said, you know what, I actually have a soup kitchen that I would like to start up again.
That's incredible.
They gave me 6,000 rand, and we made soup, handed out at 3 schools. And as a thank you to them, I said, okay, let's take pictures and thank you letters. And the kids made beautiful posters. And I emailed that all through to the UK, just say, thank you so much for your contribution.
Sure.
They came back, can't be scaled this. And we raised 1.2 million rand in 10 hours.
That is overwhelming. But, you know, in an industry like winemaking, where the farmers are so poor, how important is it for people like you to generate donations and give them back to the communities?
I think it's so important. Historically, there is a big gap. There's a minimum wage in South Africa. We all know that. And you know what? People that have a disadvantage, they cannot provide the same education, maybe same, well, definitely not the lifestyle. So we, as the people in a better position, need to give back and to help those children. Maybe you cannot help the parents, but you can help that child. You can feed that child, because suddenly that child can concentrate better. The school attendance is better because there is food at the school. You know, they want to come to school. And that is what most people can do. They can donate to any feeding scheme.
Absolutely. And it has such a positive ripple effect throughout the communities and throughout the children. Well, you are so inspiring, Carmen. We're going to chat to you a little bit more later on in the show. But after the break, we're making easy tea time biscuits called Arlettes. And we're joined by the founder of I Was Shot in Joburg, a project that gives street kids the opportunity to generate an income through photography. We're giving you all the inspiration you need this afternoon on Afternoon Express. Don't move. More after this.
Magnum could be the one. Find a key with a unique code and stand a chance to win a shopping spree worth 100,000 Rand, plus designer fashion accessories by Gert-Johan Coetzee. Unlock the M collection.
Experience the world in a way less limited. Apply today at dinersclub.co.za.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, it's always when the weather starts getting a little bit cooler that food in my kitchen starts getting a hell of a lot tastier. So today we're going to be working with two of my favorite flavors, cinnamon in particular, and I really enjoy when you can taste the texture of all of this delicious sticky brown sugar. Okay, how do we get started with our Arlette?
Today we've got a very, very basic recipe, which is great because it means that it's quick and easy.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with two basic things. I've got a sheet of puff pastry here that I took out of the fridge about half an hour ago.
You buy this,
So
though, as
you
it
buy
is.
this rolled up. You can make it yourself if you have got all day
Let's
to
not.
spare, which we don't.
Yeah, for
So
today, let's not.
I've taken it out of the fridge because it comes frozen.
Okay.
And you can see this is the kind of texture of it. So it's pliable, but it's not cracking when I roll it out. Very simply, we're going to mix together our cinnamon and our muscovado sugar. You can just as easily add in anything else that you like. So
Anything sweet.
some crushed up cocoa nibs or
Raisins.
raisins. So
What
I'm going to
else?
mix these two
Chocolate.
together.
Okay.
What is quite nice as well is if you take some ground up coffee beans. So I would take like a black pepper grinder
Yeah.
and put cocoa nibs and coffee beans and this brown sugar and then grate it all together, and it gives it that kind of wintry
I actually have
appeal.
a little thing. You get it in the shops. We're in the same section as all the spices. You actually get one of those grinders, and I've got one with cinnamon, sugar, and a little bit of chocolate in it. Sometimes I put it on.
Yeah, it
popcorn.
just
I
gives
know
like
that
a
sounds gross,
extra-
but It's actually delicious.
So I've rolled the pastry out, and you're just going to take the sugar and cinnamon and push it into the one side. I'm actually just going to go ahead and use my
Yeah,
hands.
you use your hands, and I can do this for you.
Perfect.
Or am I going too much?
No, go wild.
I mean, I genuinely
Nobody's
do.
ever complained that they had too much tasty stuff in there.
Only except for every girl ever after a great
Exactly.
holiday.
So I'm going to tell you to just hang 5 on that because we're going to flip this over and we're going to do the other side.
Okay.
And all of this is probably going to fall over.
Yeah, that's going to be messy,
That's fine.
but fun.
Okay. So we flip this over. We're going to do the other side.
Okay. There you go. You pat with hands.
If you wanted and you didn't want to go the very sweet route, you could take some tomato paste, put in a little bit of sugar to cut the acidity, and then you could put in some oregano and some Parmesan cheese, and you could
Yes.
make like a pizza biscuit.
Okay, that's actually more my flavour. I'm
not
definitely
ideal
more
for dipping
savoury.
into hot chocolate. I wouldn't quite go that far, but
No.
okay. So we've got both sides done. The next thing, another simple step, is just to roll it up. Now, you don't want to roll it up too loosely because then it's all going to fall apart, but you equally don't want to roll it up too tightly because you want it's puff pastry. So when it goes in the oven, it's going to expand and you're going to get all of those lovely buttery layers. So you can see I'm just rolling it up naturally.
Yeah, easily.
And of course, none of my sugar's stuck onto the outside. Murphy's Law.
Okay, no, that's fine. We'll get it to stick.
Yes. You could always just run a little bit of water along this edge just to seal the pastry.
Yeah.
And then it's important to keep your pastry cold. So this is now defrosted. We've gotten all of our ingredients together. And now we're going to put it back in the fridge in this roll so that it chills, because we want the butter in between the layers of the puff pastry to get nice and cold again. So when it goes into the oven, by the time the butter's melted, the pastry's crisped. So you get all of those flaky layers. Otherwise, the butter just kind of goes meh, and then all the layers stick together and you get this like...
Yeah.
Do you know what
Not
I mean?
amazing.
No.
Okay, but now if, like what happens here, if the sugar hasn't stuck, can you do a little film of water just
You
to get that to
could. You
stick
could
as
do
well?
like an egg wash and stick
Okay.
kind of anything on it.
All right,
so,
perfect.
Yeah,
Yummy.
that's pretty simple.
I can't wait to see how this turns out. And if you are curious about all of these tasty treats that we're making on Afternoon Express, all you need to do is visit our website, afternoonexpress.co.za, and there you'll find our shopping list and, of course, all of these amazing recipes. Right now, though, Bonnie's on the couch with our next guest.
I was shot in Joburg. This is not the kind of statement you would associate with a community upliftment project that gives young street kids the opportunity to generate an income through the medium of photography. And that's one of the reasons why architect and photographer Bernard Viljoen chose the name for his organization. Over the past 7 years, he's been taking kids from shelters in Johannesburg and giving them a newfound hope through the lens of a disposable camera. We're joined by Bernard Viljoen now. Welcome to The Loft, Bernard.
Thank you.
I was shot in Joburg. That's quite a controversial name. How
Yeah.
did that come about?
For the very simple reason to get on shows like these. It was a branding exercise.
Well, it worked. I
It
see what you
worked.
did right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We I mean, initially when we started, I knew there were quite a few of these projects out there, and it becomes like anything else. You have to kind of stand your ground.
Yeah.
And I knew I wanted to brand it relevant to the area we're working in, and relevant to South Africa also.
Yes.
And make it slightly controversial and see what happens.
Well, this all began back in 2009 as
Yes.
just a community upliftment project, and then it grew into something else.
Yeah.
How did the idea come about to incorporate photography?
I come from an architectural background and a self-taught photographer, and I did both of those together. So when you kind of want to reach out, I think you have to work within the realm that you're familiar with.
Yes, yes.
So I reached out to these guys. I thought I was going to do a 3-month project, been there, done that, tick the box.
Yes.
And then it just kind of went on. After 3 months of using the disposable cameras, the images were phenomenal. I said to the guys, okay, we're going to do another 3 months. Let's get a proper body of work. So we can do an exhibition that's really cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And then on the night they said to me, the first exhibition was called Joburg on Monday afternoons, because we went out every Monday afternoon. And I said, and the guy said to me, so what's happening next week, Monday? And I'm like, I thought we'd done now. And they kind of wanted to carry on with it, and I had to figure a way to make it sustainable. And that's also part of the name and branding it in such a way.
It was such a novel idea. I remember it got a lot of write-ups. There was a lot of buzz
we were
around
very
it.
fortunate.
And I saw some photographs. But how did you prepare the kids to actually go out and take the photographs? I mean, was it daunting for them? Or did you give them just a few basic tips on how to take pictures?
I remember when I arrived, I said to the guys, explain your immediate environment to me. What is your feeling? And we worked within Hillbrow, which everyone knows is quite notorious and dangerous.
Yes, and quite picturesque.
And picturesque.
Yeah.
If you look at it through in a different manner. So when I asked them, the first thing was, it's dirty, and it's this, and it's that. And I said, guys, okay, your immediate environment is extremely important, because that shapes you, and that is how you perceive yourself ultimately. So I said, we're going to open the gates at the shelter. All I want you to do is go out, find beauty where you thought there were none.
Wow.
That was the brief. So that was, I wanted to keep it as simple as possible. And then, it was literally basics, color, contrast, composition.
Yes.
Showing them the very basic, because, I mean, a disposable camera doesn't really allow you much settings.
Right,
You always say
right.
your legs are this is your zoom, and for the rest, you up and down, and you just find interesting subject matter.
Yeah, well, they did very well with what they had. And why the choice to use disposable cameras?
That was initially, it was a matter of funding. We got a batch of expired disposable cameras.
Oh, really? Well, what expires about a disposable camera?
I don't know. I suppose the same as a tin of beads. the film and the emulsion probably on the film runs out. But I mean, they came out perfect.
Yeah, they did.
And it fit in quite nicely with our theme. Part of it, as the project progressed, I always say to the guys, use what you have and make it work.
Yeah.
And I always reference back to that box of expired disposable cameras. That's what we had, and we made it work.
How did it affect the children's psyche to start to see beauty in their environment? I mean, did you start to see, like,
I think that's
great change in their personalities and their character, things I was talking about?
Yeah, one of my favorite images is as we one day we also walked out of the shelter, and one of the guys saw his shadow on the road. And he clicked that, and in my mind that was such a beautiful gesture, because for him, all of a sudden, within his context, his shadow on that road became beautiful. And that was becoming part of your environment. And also, that's what we're trying. We're very fortunate to be based at Arts on Main, which is an artist hub within Johannesburg. So the guys are very much part of that community. And there's a huge market on a Sunday. So you try to integrate them into society.
Yes.
And I mean, once it's good for them when a tourist or someone exploring Johannesburg actually asks them about their environment, and they're actually really interested in that. That gives a different spin. It's almost becoming a tourist within your own city again.
Right. The organisation sells the prints, but you've also added other products which you sell. Can you tell us about them?
Yeah, we've got a whole range of products, from key rings, fridge magnets. We've got a recycling range we're doing now, which we're going to call I Was Trashed in Joburg. And we've got notebooks that's
Excuse the
probably
pun.
notebooks. We've got T-shirts, a whole range of T-shirts. Those guys are little
Some beautiful
joesters.
stuff I'm seeing there.
Photo blocks. So the idea is we outsource most of it initially. That's recycled magazine frames. So the guys roll the frames.
Yeah.
The idea is to outsource it initially. Once the project becomes feasible and we see that it's actually working, we bring it in-house. So production is also done within the Johannesburg studio. The guys are, I mean, that's part of of our program.
And have any of your students gone on to take photography professionally and actually become professional photographers?
They should. We've got a guy who runs our photography component. They're still assisting him mostly.
Wow.
To do that, we've got guys who's gone to study law, who's in final year at this point. We've got the guy Tony, who's in his last year of art school. So. Yeah, and I want the better ones to stay within the company because, I mean, they just add value.
Yeah, and they become mentors.
Yes,
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. You're not going away. We're going to talk more about your other project, Say Yes. So after the break, Bernard joins us again along with Michelle Potter, who co-founded the Say Yes mentorship program in Cape Town that has partnered with Bernard to make a success of his new venture, I Was Shot in Cape Town. Also on social media today, we're asking you the question, when it comes to kids begging on the street, do you give them money? If so, why not? And if not, why not? Share your opinion with us. Tweet us at Afternoon Chat using the hashtag Afternoon Express or comment on our Facebook page. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Are you a passionate and qualified designer with less than 5 years working experience with a hunger to make it big? Well, we're excited to announce that applications to become a Winner Home Design contestant have been extended until the 18th of April, giving you more time to polish your design portfolio and stand the best chance of being one of the 3 designers who will turn 3 white box apartments into luxurious homes on the prestigious lifestyle estate in the Cape Winelands. This once-in-a-lifetime opportunity gives you the chance to win a paid internship with a top design and interior decor studio in Cape Town, as well as a large cash prize. The perfect kickstart to a successful career in design. Log on to afternoonexpress.co.za now, click on the Winner Home logo and fill out the application form. Send us your design portfolio and you could be one of the 3 design contestants who showcase their talent to South Africa. T's and C's apply and can be found on our website. That's Winner Home, coming soon to Afternoon Express, weekdays at 4 p.m. Find it on 3.
Initiative. Welcome to the show, Michelle.
Was on the educational attainment of children in care in children's homes, but what was highlighted from my dissertation was the lack of support that was here in South Africa for children who have to leave the homes when they're 18 versus what was available in the UK, which was every young person had a team working with them, helping them with housing, with finding a job.
Socially, economically.
Yes, yes, yes. And in this country there was nothing. These guys were leaving at 18, staff at the children's homes.
All those experiences?
Yeah, I probably needed a mentor, actually, when I think about it. When I was 16 in England, I didn't have any qualifications. I was a bit of a wild one. a number of record companies, of some artists, had a really fabulous time right through my 20s, and then thought, okay, what next? And then I was in my mid-30s and I thought, I think it's time to think. Volunteered at this children's home, coaching soccer to these boys, and I saw what their future looked like and decided instead to change how to support them. And my friend and I, my friend is Gillian Anderson, who's an actress who made the setting up of this charity much easier than it might have been because she supports us financially. She and I founded the organisation in 2008, and I spent a year here doing a lot of reading about what other countries were doing, talking to social workers, talking to youth who were living in the homes, preparing to leave, about their hopes and their dreams and their fears. And when I came across guiding their extended service, we launched our mentoring program, and we source volunteer mentors, and there are fabulous, fabulous mentors that we with a mentee, with a young person who has signed up voluntarily. They can't be forced into this. They know our monthly workshop, and then we have a graduation at the end of the year, and then we invite the young people to sign up again. But if they sign up again the next year, they must have a different mentor, so that they increase their networks. And so by the time they leave the children's home at 18, they've got a network of support, and they can continue to join our alumni group.
How did you meet Michelle?
Through one of their mentees, I knew. And he told me about the program and he introduced me to his mentor, and it was just light bulb. Everything we kind of struggled with in Johannesburg could have been resolved had each of my students had a mentor. I met up with the Cape Town area. We meet at March Memorial, and then the shoot we did on Sunday, back to the be beautifully photographed, reduce the classes.
Yeah. Do you envision yourselves just spreading this nationally? Was shot in.
Yeah. Yes. We're very much talking about that.
But
Accra is a possibility.
Oh, wonderful. And above all of that, is there an exhibition where the public can come see the photos that the youth have taken?
This program works now, we're meeting once a month to do the shoots. That becomes an exhibition which will be on the first Thursday in September at the Watershed in Cape Town.
This is really fantastic.
Great projects. Yeah.
But after the break, we're joined by author.
Remember us as our Afternoon Express are giving 6 lucky viewers an exclusive once Italian-inspired experience. And an olive maker, plus a luxurious
There's so many people in the loft today. I feel like we need to feed all of them.
Exactly.
There you go.
About this recipe, I think, if you've got kids, it's a lovely recipe that you can do with your kids. You know, you can give them free rein, they can sprinkle, they can put hundreds and thousands on, you can really go to town.
Could you put jam through this?
You could. I just wouldn't put too much jam.
What would happen to it if you had to bake it?
Well, the jam just caramelizes quite a lot, and jam is also quite sweet. I think if you did it, you know, like those biscuits that Granny used to make, those apricot biscuits with the grated... I think apricot jam could be quite nice. And you don't need to spread them out too much in the pan because they're going to go this way, not that way.
Okay, that's
so,
good.
yeah, you can really
get into it. Okay, then what's going to happen from here? This is going to go into the oven.
This is going to go into the oven, and every oven is different. So put it in the oven. Once the pastry is kind of golden and crisp, then it's ready. So if you take it out of the oven and you lift a biscuit off and it kind of does that, it's not ready.
Okay.
Put it back in.
It's going to be quite crisp.
For me, you know, all recipes say that you should take them out of the oven and leave them to cool before you enjoy them. I'm completely against that. For me, stuff usually by the time it's cold, it's finished.
Okay, so we can have this warm as Remember, this recipe and, of course, all of the ingredients are on our website, afternoonexpress.co.za, and it's already starting to smell so delicious in here. And the minute we put those in there, it's going to be even better. Now, remember that our resident chef, Clem Pedro, is teaming up with Espresso Morning Show, Zola Nene, for a baking boot camp. Works.
I'm Zola and he's Clem.
She's Zola and I'm Clem.
I'm really sweet
and I'm her salty friend.
We're both hard-working chefs
making dishes that impress.
I'm Zola and
I'm Clem, 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 Clem.
Stop being greedy. At Salati Boot Camp we'll meet,
where we'll make delicious treats.
So tasty you'll want to tweet.
Heck, it's salty sweet
Like us.
The fun isn't over yet.
You're in luck if you get your ticket.
That's a copy of Zola's book.
That's me.
And Salati to help you cook.
At Salati Boot Camp.
Don't forget to book.
With Zola and
with Clem, 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 Clem.
You're doing it again, Clem. Express yourself.
Blended with caramel syrup, Salati Muscovado is brownies, gingerbread, fruitcake, and sprinkled over porridge. Salati, always good, always sweet.
Five Roses blends only the top 2 leaves of the finest Ceylon teas. Because nobody makes better tea than you and Five Roses.
Welcome back. You're still watching Afternoon Express live right here on SABC3.
Yeah, lovely to have you back with us. So, guys, we've had an absolute great conversation with you today, but there's another conversation happening on Twitter where we asked our viewers, do they give money to children begging on the street? And if they do, why? And if they don't, why? We'd love to hear from you.
Carmen, you want to go first?
I think I'm the worst. I give money and I give food.
Okay.
It depends where I am. I think if a child asks you for food, there's a reason. So I would either go and say, okay, come with me, I'll buy you something. Or if I'm in a position where I can't go, I'll say, I hope you're going to use this money wisely.
Right.
So whether that's good or bad, but for me, that is sufficient for that point in time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think you kind of have to trust your instinct sometimes also, or just refer to them at least to a home or or a house, of give them a little bit of an option, or just listen to what they have to say. Sometimes they also just want a little bit of acknowledgement. But I don't think there's a right and a wrong with that always. You kind of just have to trust your gut.
It's a personal thing.
Michelle?
It is a hard one. There are lots of great organisations working with children on the streets. They should be referred to those organisations if they don't know who they are, and people should make themselves aware of who those organisations are. It's very difficult seeing a child on the street. No child should be on the street.
Absolutely.
But direct them to those organisations, because addiction is a big problem. Big problem, and drugs are available.
Jean, you're the money person.
Yes.
You should have the perfect answer.
Yeah, there's no perfect answer because
Yeah.
there's always an emotional connection. As parents ourselves, we see these kids on the street, and there's a huge misconception that kids on the street are associated with drugs and alcohol and cigarettes. So giving kids money is seen as you are actually facilitating that habit. I would prefer to actually go out and buy them clothes or food, you know, but yes, it is an emotional one.
Fantastic. Well, we do have a couple of comments on Twitter. Zanele Mdombela says, I'm a Christian, so I believe in being the helping hand. So yes, I do give them money, but only if I have. No matter what they do with the money, you never know if someday they will use it for change or to improve the improvement of their own lives. Very nice, Zanele. Thank you for watching.
Yeah. Lesaba says, I will not give them money because they'll use it to buy drugs. I'd rather give them food.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Peter Johnson says, no, I found out exactly what they are needing, food or clothing, and then I assist with them accordingly.
Yeah, and Caroline Mamet just says, I always try not to give money, but give them food because you never know what they'll use the money for.
Yeah, well, there you go. Like, Bernard was saying, it's no half and half. Jeannie, we don't have a lot of time, so come in here and feed us, darling.
That is my role today. I'm the feeder.
This looks divine.
These are amazing. You are absolutely going to love them. They're
looking
called
incredible.
alettes, and I've been baking all day, slaving. May as well have been barefoot and pregnant.
Well, there you go. But tomorrow, make sure you join us again for Afternoon Express and get here early during the first 15 minutes of the show. We're chatting to Mubango actress Bootless Samuels, and for dinner, we're making lamb chops with an Egyptian spice mix called dukkha. Sounds fantastic.
I love dukkha.
Lovely.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not going to be here tomorrow, sadly, but we'll be back the following.
Yeah, absolutely. A big thank you, of course, to Carmen, to Bernard. Michelle, thank you very much for being here. And, of course, Jean, it's been a lovely, inspirational Tuesday. Back again tomorrow at 4 p.m. right here on SABC3. From all of us, it's good evening and happy eating.
Mwah. Ciao. Now, who would like?
Coming up tomorrow on Afternoon Express, Mubango actress Bootless Samuels joins us to chat about her career and personal journey. We also take a look at how to deal with conflict, both at home and at the workplace.
Nada.